Hello and welcome to Aquarium Dilemmas. I'm your host, Science Gal Aquatics. I'm Carrie, and this is my co-host,
Jesse. Welcome.
Welcome to this week's episode, which I think we should talk about all of our summer tubbing in our little pond that we have, since we are in the middle of a fake summer.
Well, yeah.
It's making me all in the mood to do the summer tubbing, to go ahead. Our pond took a little beating before the tornado, but the tornado last year didn't help things. And so we thought there was a leak and everything. So last year we didn't do so much with the pond, but this year I think we have some plans for it, and of course summer tubbing. So I think it would be fun to go through kind of what we do, maybe the plans for the pond, and maybe some of the pests. I get some questions through summer tubbing on like pest control and some of the things that I wouldn't say have trouble with, but definitely have run into pest wise doing the pond and the tub. So
Oh, yeah.
Jesse knows more about the pond, so he'll probably talk all about that. I'll talk more about the summer tub, and then together we'll talk about the pests.
Well, I guess starting out, the best thing is,
We'll take them back to like when I first met you. You had this little, I think it's like 250-gallon pond, in-ground pond. It's not huge, but it's not
huge.
small
I think it's
either.
a little bigger than that because
Like a small, medium-sized pond, if you can visualize it. It's kind of an oblong circle. There's a deep spot and a shallow spot.
It kind of looks like a kidney.
Yeah. And he didn't have anything in it, and it wasn't really running, but it was holding water. So since he decided to live with a fish person, I was all excited to see this little pond in the backyard.
It kind of looked like a kidney, and it was a little project I had going on from a previous
Time.
We'll say previous time, and it was a little project that I hand dug it. I dug it down. I wanted to make it cool. I'd been kind of watching some of aquascape type stuff for outdoor stuff, outdoor living, however you want to call it, outdoor.
I wouldn't say it was anything aquarium related.
No,
it was just outdoor ponds.
Outdoor
for sure.
ponds, more of like decorative, more of plant flowers around it, have a little waterfall kind of thingy.
It looked nice. It did.
Nothing crazy, but I dug it myself. And I bought a liner myself, and I made sure, measured everything, went through all the steps, processes. That I could talk about that forever.
And I think we're still using the same liner, or have we replaced it once?
I replaced it once a long time ago, and I, again, homemade, DIY'd when I got the new liner to make sure I didn't mess up the new liner because of... I was like, well, liners, if you buy a good one, are expensive. Anybody that's ever attempted a pond or anything of this sort knows that. The pond liners are not cheap.
No.
So I took and cut out a very close size but smaller out of a swimming pool liner and put it in first, and then put some sand down in there, and then put my other liner into that. So I was reinforcing it so I could make sure I didn't get any holes poked in it, anything else. And then I could change my contour a little bit that way by using the sand. And then I had a backstop against that. That way I didn't have to worry about anything poking through by accident. If there was something I forgot, because we live in the Midwest, there's always a rock, something. Yeah. There's always something you can't avoid it.
Side note, 5-second side note that has nothing to do with this. When we traveled to Oklahoma and went to the lake, we are so used to rocks that I needed all kinds of feet protection. And I went there and walked out into that lake, and it was nice. But side note, yes, the point of that side note is it's very rocky here.
Well, yeah, I mean, to dig a hole in the ground, and to go back to that, digging a hole in the ground, I did that. And when I did that, I dug the one in almost 3.5 feet deep. And then I tapered it up to a shallow spot and I did that at, I think, max depth of, it was either 12 to 16 inches, and that's where I wanted my waterfall and all that to go on. And I put my liner in, did all the stuff, did some little rock work. At one point, I had flowers and everything around it. Mm-hmm. And up to this point now, I think Carrie and me have changed it, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times up to this point.
We've wanted to leave it alone. We've wanted to expand it. We wanted to turn our whole backyard in a pond. Like, we've gone all kinds of crazy to practical. And now I think we might just leave the shape and everything alone and kind of revamp the waterfall. But did you have anything in it before my time with you? Did you keep anything in it during that when you first started it?
The only thing
I can't remember
I had ever put in it was a couple goldfish, and they, I don't believe, lasted. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they did last for a long time. Obviously, my oldest, now very, very grown, we put a couple perch in there. They made it for several years. They wintered through it, everything. We'd feed them because you could throw anything in there. You throw earthworms, you could throw crickets, you could throw grasshoppers in the summertime. And it was fun to watch them. So it was kind of an enjoyable experience for me and him.
They like the bigger fish for sure, especially his.
Well, not even.
I wouldn't say he's like, I always call him the young one, the kiddos, but he's, like you said, he's not a kiddo anymore. When he was younger, he would like to go to Jesse's parents have a pond, and he would catch little things in the pond and bring it back and keep it for a while. And then he liked to feed them like the crickets and the worms, because they would sometimes jump a little bit more, and they were just really fun.
Well,
he found it really fun.
Perch. They were sunfish. They were just perch, regular old Midwest perch, nothing special. Not
they were fun to keep during that time we kept them.
Nothing fancy. They weren't like extravagant by any means of any sort. No. But it was, I guess, a prelude to something I didn't even know that was coming.
Big time, full force.
And well, we enjoyed it because they're a very small fish.
Yeah.
And I know they're in the cichlid family somewhere that perch are, but they're ferocious in their own little way. They are big.
Pretty mighty, man, for what they are. They are pretty vicious for what they are.
I mean,
eating.
Basically, to me, if I look at a regular Severum that you can get from PetSmart or one of your big chain stores, that's exactly what Midwest perch looks like.
Yeah, they do look alike. But I guess kind of moving on a little bit, once I came in to the picture, I just let that pond run for a while, and it did turn over. And then I think it was the next summer we decided we went through our rosy red minnow phase, and we just found it so fascinating. Those rosy red minnows, we got them for like 25 cents at the pet store, the chain pet store.
I don't even know if they were that much.
They were cheap. They're feeder fish. They don't look the healthiest. They're so scrawny. But we put a few bags in there and let them just do their thing. Even over winter, we didn't take any out. And by the end of it, they were breeding, and they didn't even look like the same fish. Most of them did go back to more of the wild type color, but they were massive and chunky for what they came from. And we did use them some for feeder fish when we had the freshwater lying fish and the silver arowana. But we had so many of them that eventually it did kind of dwindle down because we stopped adding.
Don't scold us for that, but
we kind of changed our
predatory fish already knows
they got to eat too. But that was kind of the point of why I wanted to do that pond that way, because I was keeping larger, more predatory fish. And like I said, they got to eat too. And I trusted my food source with the food that I was keeping for enjoyment and using as feeder fish. I knew where they were coming from. They looked good. I felt like they were more nutritious for what I was doing. And that time period where we had them at the height, it was just really enjoyable to go out there and feed them, and they would all come up, and it was just like, it was so fun. And we did have some koi in there during that time. We put, I think at the most we had 4 koi. We got them when they were pretty small, and they were about a foot long, but we'll go into the reason why we don't have them anymore in the pest section. But yeah, that time frame. So if you're looking for something that isn't necessarily like the most prestigious thing to keep, but it's kind of enjoyable, is just having some rosy red minnows and just kind of watch them grow into a better fish, if that makes sense. But that time we did have the rock pile and the waterfall. We had a UV sterilizer, and the pond it had some mornings where it wasn't as clear, but the pond looked clear for the most part every day. The fish looked good, and it was just a really enjoyable time to keep an outside pond. And all of those fish wintered really well. We didn't have to really do anything for the winter. We had a de-icer that would make like just enough thaw from the ice that it would gas exchange, but it still kind of froze over quite a bit in the winter here. So, but everything wintered well. They summered well. They ate well. It was a fun time.
I will say
they reproduced.
I will say with pond, there's a little more to tubbing than there is to ponds, but I will say if you're going low maintenance type fish like that, it is the most enjoyable.
It's really
relaxing.
fun.
You do not have to babysit it really at all. I mean, it's just you go out there and just check on it because you want to check on it.
Yeah.
And Mother Nature provides for the most part on those, and the fish thrive. You literally have gave them their own outside environment, even though it's contained. They're not out in the complete wild, but yeah, oh my goodness.
It was fun. It was definitely fun. And I did feed them flakes and different things, but for the most part, the outside fish, they just look better, they're healthier, and it's because of a lot of the more natural food sources, just the bugs and critters that sometimes get in it that I can't duplicate in the fish room. And I promise you, the natural sunlight, everything about it's, to me, easier to keep fish outside than it is sometimes in the fish room. And if I had the weather year round that allowed it, I would have everything outside. I'd keep everything outside if I could. It's just, there's something to that natural sunlight, the natural food, that no matter how much I try, the fish breed better. They, like I said, they look better. Everything about it is just really enjoyable.
Even the plants.
Yeah.
The lilies that we had growing in there. Oh my goodness.
They're huge.
They took over. We had to cut them and crop them out because it was just too much for the pond. So, I mean, even your aquatic plants, your fish, everything.
And there's some things, we have tried way more plants inside in the fish room than I have tried outside. And there's a few things. Water lettuce is my nemesis. I can't grow water lettuce outside. I can't grow it inside. I can't grow it on a rainbow if I tried. It's my nemesis. I don't know if I don't even know. I've tried it. So there's some things that we have better luck inside, but the things that I know work outside, they work 1,000 times better outside than inside.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
There's just some things that I just can't wait to just move out there. I just can't wait. And a lot of it is floating. A lot of it is more floating plants. So if you have opportunity to try floating plants,
or if you're in a warmer climate zone than the Midwest, if you're a little bit further south, Oh, you're going to have a lot
Yeah.
longer
The
season
guppy grass.
than we do, especially for plants.
The
But
guppy grass does fantastic. There was one other one. I can see it as clear as day. Now I can't. I'll have to come back to it. But
was
there,
it the hornwort?
hornwort does good, I think, anywhere. But yes, it seems like we do have more of a theme that it is more of a floating plant, something that even if it does like to be planted but can be floated, I would try it outside. Why not? Give it a shot. I recommend it. But I will have to say, kind of the downfall of the pond, the reason we haven't really been enjoying it lately was Jesse it was really sweet. They tried, it was a gift. Someone had thrown away some kind of like trickle tower waterfall feature thing. I don't know. They had thrown it away. The boys, him and his friend, saw it. They thought of me. They're like, oh, you guys have a pond. The thought was there. But I think that's what was leaking. Jesse did think it was the pond. Maybe it got the liner. I don't know. But we got rid of that thing. And the pond still holds water, even though nothing's hooked up. It's mainly just rainfall that filled it up. It's holding water, so I'm willing to give it a shot. I think now that we got rid of the contraption that was a gift, the thought was there. But I think that's what we had developed a leak. We didn't know where it was really coming from. We had tried patching it. We had tried all kinds of things, but it just wasn't working. Again, there was some pest involved that we'll get to, so we didn't really have any fish. And so it was just kind of a slow demise. And then the tornado came through, and that didn't help. And so, long story kind of short, because we'll get to the tubs here next. It's been sitting kind of sad.
So look forward to
some
more
pond
talk
videos.
and videos on the YouTube side of it.
More chit chat on the podcast and videos on the Science Gal YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're gonna revamp it. I have a few ideas. We want to make it a little bit prettier. Try to.
I'm partial to going back to having some pretty flowers around the side, but we will see.
We
have some outside dogs that like to pee on everything, and that really isn't ideal for pretty flowers sometimes. So we'll try it. But moving on, kind of to the outside summer tubbing projects, we started off. You'll have to. Jesse knows the name. I never can remember. What are those cattle tub things called?
Which ones? The small ones or the big ones?
The small ones.
The small ones. Yeah, if you're going to do outside tubbing and you're going to either want to move it inside, if you're in somewhere area of like we are in the Midwest where you are trying to save your babies and you're like, oh, I there's no way I can get all these out of here. You're going to want to go with what would be called a mineral tub. If you have a farmer or
they're just really helpful.
A friend around you that farms, mineral tubs.
Ask for them.
Yeah, mineral tubs usually are red, green, blue, black. I've seen them in purple. They're about 40 gallons total. Mm-hmm. They stand about 2.5 foot tall, give or take, and they're nice. And they got handles on the side of them. You can move them easily when they are not full of water.
Yeah. I just really like them. I think if you have a friend that has some, I highly recommend. We have them in every color, but I do prefer the black ones. The green ones are okay, but if you have any color, I wouldn't turn it down. It's worth a shot. But we've tried them with filters, without filters, with sponge filters, and I like all of the kind of filtration aeration methods we've tried in the past, but it really kind of depends on what fish are putting in there, on what method you should go with. The guppies like a little higher flow. The mollies I've tried in the past liked a little higher flow. The white clouds, they were in a bigger tub, so they honestly weren't affected. We didn't have a high enough flow rate on those to be affected. And the rice fish, they liked a really slower flow. So I had a sponge filter that was dialed way down for them. So with what you choose if you choose anything at all, because like I said, I've done it to where I've just used plants and some recycled substrate to kick it off. So it's really kind of, you'll have to decide on what you use based on what fish you go with. But whatever you choose, again, go for it. It's gonna work out great. They breed better. But like I said, we've tried with the substrate too. We've tried gravel, sand, just mulch and mulm, whatever the wind's blown in. There's really no rhyme or reason. I would go with whatever you have on hand. There's really no wrong answer. It's just, again, comes down to what you want to put and breed in your summer tubs. Like Jesse said a while ago, we went through a phase where we brought them in and out. We didn't necessarily keep fish per se on there on purpose, but the one thing I would recommend that I didn't really think about in the beginning because I was so excited is it kind of goes into your fish decision is like guppies and some of those white clouds that have the smaller babies. If you want to ensure that you have all your babies out, it's impossible. It's hard. So that was the decision on why we brought them in. If you breed something that's a little bigger or you have a net or some aspect that you can bring all your babies in and all the fish back in, then I wouldn't strain because those things they can be heavy. Sometimes it's not possible to overwinter them inside.
You can check out a video of me straining my back.
Yeah, it's back on the channel and somewhere along the line. So ideally now I will put whatever fish in there I'm wanting to breed, set it up, and then I'll tear it down. I'll just drain all the water out and try my best to put it through a fish net, try to dump it over and strain it so I can try to catch as many fish as I can at the end of the season. But the bigger the babies are at the end of the season, just know some of them are really hard to catch. And I always feel bad if one gets missed or something. So I don't necessarily always want to bring them back in, especially anymore, because it was kind of in the way. It was heavy. So we just drain them at the end of the year and leave everything in it, substrate, rocks, drift, whatever's in it, just leave it in there, leave it in its spot, and then I'll refill it the next
A lot
summer.
of times we don't have to refill it. We just
there's always some rainwater. So when I say refill it to whatever's the new top is. So, but yeah, and then we have these bigger, they're 300-gallon tubs that we got at the hardware store.
Well, we got them at the livestock store, what we call Family Center, and it's just a livestock tub. They are nice in the fact that they do have a valve on the bottom you can crack open and let all the water out when you're done with them. I recommend not paying full price for them, if at all possible. If that's what you want to do, absolutely go ahead, buy them, but they will hold and you can weather over goldfish, koi. I mean,
yeah, they're big enough that they will definitely weather. This year, I think we got 2 goldfish from his friend that won them at a carnival.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And
those
he
two,
didn't want to get rid of them. He was like, I don't want to get rid of them, but I don't want them. Do you have
your fish people?
Do you have something? I'm like, yeah. I can throw them in this 300-gallon and they'll be fine.
Those 2 goldfish, they're not very big either. They wintered just fine. I saw them swimming out there now in our fake summer. It's like abnormally hot here, so it makes me feel like it's full-fledged. Let's jump right into it. But I know next week it's going to be cold again. So I have to really remind myself it is only fake summer. But for filtration and stuff through the years, we have dabbled. We've had solar things. We've had, like I said, sponge filters. We've had just pumps. We've had Tupperware containers with media and different pumps that way. And so if you want to DIY, project. It's a really fun project to work on an outside tub. You can make
You
all
can do it
kinds
any
of
way
things
you
work.
want.
But they also have really fun gadgets and things at this store for ponds that I recommend too. So again, just it comes down to fish selection, your space. We have 2 of those 300-gallon tubs, and the one that's a little closer to the house gets a little bit more shade in the afternoon. And I love that one there. It's kind of underneath our window. I can hear it. I love it. The one on the other side of the house, the other side of the yard, I can't wait to break it down. It gets almost too much sun. It's too far away from anything, so we're kind of limited to only solar things. So if I want to try something, it's kind of hard to plug it in. I don't always use something on that one because of that, so we do kind of rely more on the solar things. We've had wild caught mosquito fish in that tub for years, and the population was huge, but they were impossible to catch because they would sense your footsteps walking up. So as soon as you got within like 3 or 4 feet of that tub, they would just scatter down in the bottom of the tub, and you would never be able to catch them. So now the population's dwindled down. If there's anything in there, it's barely maybe 1 or 2's left, but it's been 7, 8 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been set up for a long time. I mean, they had a long road.
And they were fun because when you would feed them, they would kind of jump at the surface and kind of do their thing too. And they were fun because the babies it sounds weird, but it was a trash can lid for like those bigger industrial strength trash cans.
It was a 55-gallon trash can lid.
So it would float, but it was warped and bent just enough that about 1 inch of water would kind of settle on the top, maybe a half an inch water. So the babies would come up there and kind of sunbathe in that shallow, it's got to be obviously warmer water. And so if you would stand just right, far enough away, you could see all the babies up there in that little bit of water on that lid. And it was kind of interesting to watch kind of the behavior of them. And the females were bigger and the males were little bitty. And if you were lucky enough to get a good look at them, they were really nice. But that population's kind of done its thing, and it's kind of gotten cracked because it's just always sunny. We've tried sunshades on it. We've tried all kinds of things through the years. So I love to honestly break that one down, maybe turn it into a garden or something, transfer all the lilies and stuff that we can into our new improved pond that we'll have in the future. So we're not losing anything. Try to save as much as we can. But I would love to just have my summer tubs, that one larger tub in our pond. So we don't have a huge breeding things outside, but it's just enough that's manageable for me. And it looks really nice. It's fun to go out there. If we have friends as kids come over to the backyard, they always get a kick out of the babies. But everything just breeds. We've bred pretty much, I think, honestly, we've bred everything but the goldfish that we've kept outside. And we just have really good looking babies. We have more of them. They drop more often. I don't really have as much luck breeding egg scatterers inside, but outside the rice fish and the white clouds did exceedingly better than anything we did inside. So,
well, and I also think, just to add to that point, for whatever reason, like I said, I believe a mineral tub is about 40 gallons.
Yeah, and
I think it's about the perfect size for their breeding habitat, especially if you have a decent community of them in there to start with. Then for them, I believe that is like their perfect scenario.
Yeah. I will have to say that the year that we had a hang on the back filter on one of those round tubs. And so it wasn't quite a tornado, but it was moving pretty fast, and we had the water up pretty high. That year, it's not a problem that I have, but I've experienced it. But that one particular tub with the guppies that year, I had more jump out. So I don't put the water all the way up. It's a couple inches down from the very, very top. And I do have a tendency to prefer the sponge filter in my outside breeding tubs. And I do use air stones sometimes without a sponge filter. But the rice fish, I do turn them down real low. The guppies, I just, whatever speed it's on, they like it. You can see them swimming in the bubbles, but I do prefer the sponge filter on those. The 300-gallon, we like the little solar fountains. We have a pump, so it makes it look like a little waterfall over the side. So, but yeah, I highly recommend it. I don't see any negatives, honestly. It's fun to try new things. Right now, I am leaning hard and heavy into just wanting to breed white clouds and rice fish outside this year. I've been seeing so many beautiful rice fish, and I can't wait to get my hands on more. So don't quote me on it, but if they become real popular, you heard it from me first. Well, at least I think you heard it from me first. But is there anything you want to say on that before we move on to the pests?
I think if you're going to try the outside thing, whether you're a first timer or you already got an indoor aquarium, I would almost say, to just in my opinion, and it can be 100% wrong, and I'll own up to that, is I think the outside is way more rewarding and at the same time less stressful, less work, less maintenance. Mother Nature takes care of a lot of things for you.
I don't know if I would say it's more rewarding, but it's rewarding in a different aspect.
Yes. Well, I guess you're right there on that. It's more rewarding in a different aspect because I feel that you don't have to strain and stress about, well, did I feed them? Did I not? Did I this? Did I that? Mother Nature, light, everything. And going even into the pests, she kind of takes care of herself.
Yeah. I just always, and even in my head before I tried it, it wasn't that I didn't think it was possible. I mean, obviously fish breed outside all the time. I just didn't think that it was something possible for me, I guess. And so, and I hear that a lot. Like, is it hard? What's the problems? Like, is it something I can do? And granted, I think it really just comes down to how long your weather is hot enough. As long as my outside tank or outside breeding tubs, I break them down before the first frost of the winter fall-ish season, then I'm okay. And I wait to after the last frost to set them up. So in between my frost dates is my personal window where the guppies are the ones that have been the most sensitive to temperature. I tried it once and I failed. It's not something that I was proud of, but I was like, maybe they'll be okay, and they are not. So the guppies were the ones that the white clouds were fine. The rosy red minnows were obviously fine. The mollies I had already brought in. So the rice fish were fine. They can handle a little bit colder weather. The guppies couldn't. So my frost dates is my summer breeding season. So if you have the weather that makes it possible, go for it. Because a lot of people, I think, have it in their head that it's more difficult. And I find it less difficult. Like, I agree with Jesse. I find it less, by far, it's less work. You might have to do about the same amount of work to set it up. But I find it a little cheaper because the tubs sometimes can be free. If you have a friend that has cows, like I'm lucky enough to have that, but you don't have to have a really expensive aquarium to do summer tubbing outside. You can do it in little patio pond. You can find
I've
a way
even
to do
seen
it that's
DIY
cheaper.
stuff now where they put those tubs that I'm talking about, the mineral type tubs. I've seen them where they put them in the ground just to keep
Yeah.
them cooler.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways.
I've seen all variations. There's no, again, if I ain't said it once, I've said it a million times. There is no right or wrong here, really.
But kind of moving on, just I guess before we move on, just give it a shot. I highly recommend it. It's really fun. But pests, this is one that I think is our most one on the topic of our pond outside tubbing videos. Pests is a big topic, and we've run into our fair share of them, running from like bigger pests to smaller
I want to
pests.
stay on the bigger pests. You stay on the small
Well,
side.
I want to start with the funniest story, and maybe you know what it is. The snapping turtle.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is his son, I believe it's been a long time ago, but I believe his son found a turtle and was excited to bring us said turtle.
We did not put it in the pond.
He put it in the pond.
I got it out of the pond.
And Jesse went like wading out in the pond to catch said turtle, but the turtle was very much a snapping turtle. So we lost a lot of fishes during just the little, I think it was not even a full day, but it was overnight. But
This was
he came
during
over
the rosy red minnow
no
phase.
phase. Yeah. Before the koi, I think, got introduced. I don't think we had any koi. I don't remember worrying about koi, but we definitely lost some rosy red minnows and that. And Jesse was out there with,
I turtle manned it.
yeah, with nothing on, some shorts on, waiting, hoping. And of course, by the time he had stepped in, and it was not clear. So you're just hoping and praying that he found it, and we took it. Adam came back over and took it back to where it was supposed to go. So yeah, we've had an issue with snapping turtle. One of our other big issues we've had is raccoons. When we did have the koi and they were bigger, we had issues with raccoons trying to get into the backyard. Luckily, we had dogs, but it was kind of one of the dogs got injured one time fighting off the raccoons, but we haven't had any try to get in since we haven't had them koi fish. But we do have a lot of raccoons in the neighborhood, and they would definitely, that's the reason we lost the koi anyway, was between, I'm almost I don't think that bird got one. The next one was bird, surprisingly, but I think we lost them all to raccoons. But I remember it wasn't often, but it was often enough that like the little blackbirds would come in and try to like get a drink or catch a little fish, and maybe their wings got wet, but they would drown. I think there was like 4 or 5 times that I would come to the pond in the bigger tub, and there would be like a little blackbird in it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't want that, you don't want that to stay in there. So I'd scoop it out. And like Jesse said, you would see like these big birds just coming in way too close. And you know what they were after, because it was they weren't up in the sky. They were like right there. And between the little dog, our medium dogs, and the koi, like, go away.
Red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawk.
Yeah, it was just surprisingly. And then I didn't mind the little garter snake that we had. We had this little garter snake for like, I
didn't mind him, but boy, he about gave me a heart attack several times.
I think it was like 3 or 4 seasons he would pop, but you wouldn't see him just the first time. Just, oh, there's a little garter snake. He's under that rock. The first time of the season you would see him, you would be on your knees, got your hand in the pond, scooping out something for whatever reason you're scooping out, and
it would be
garter
usually
snake
I was
would
cleaning
pop
a
up.
filter.
Yeah.
I was cleaning a filter. I was cleaning the filter up. I was realigning all the hoses, getting everything, make sure everything was right for the spring, make sure everything was unclogged after winter freeze, make sure everything was good to go, and me and him would have a come to Jesus meeting.
Just boop, right
about
in your face.
an inch and a half from my face, like, howdy.
And at first glance, you don't know. Like, you kind of know, but it's
like right there within you're just like, oh my gosh, that was a garter snake. Like, ugh.
Which I know he's not poisonous. He's not trying to hurt me, and I get it. And maybe he was just trying to be friendly.
Yeah,
it's
just
very
saying
possible
hi.
he was just trying to say
Thanks for
hi.
letting me have all these rosy red minnows that I'm enjoying.
Just trying to be high. Well, actually, I know what he was there for. He was there for all the bugs underneath the natural stones, because you could flip over a stone and find beetles and all kinds of things.
And sometimes he was in the water, and sometimes he was just resting on a rock. Sometimes he was underneath a rock. He was just always near that pond. And like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I don't know,
He's
whatever
probably
o'clock in the
still
morning.
around. We never did anything to him. He's probably still around.
Yeah, something. But and then we've battled frogs. Frogs are something that we've definitely
Frogs
battled.
are definitely the worst.
Yes, we just thousands of tadpoles. And no, I've tried the nets. Honestly, I think that's really the only thing I've used in the years to combat frogs, and they definitely did work for numerous different pests. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm just too lazy to use them. Like, I just have to go get new ones because the dogs always tear them up by the end of the season. But sometimes I do really well on it. Sometimes I don't. But I enjoy a little bit of frogs, like having a little bit of tadpoles. They're fun to watch grow up. But when thousands of little baby frogs just everywhere, and they're going to eat something. There's something in there that they're munching on and devouring that I'm losing. So just know that you'll probably have a fair amount of tadpoles in whatever you choose to keep.
Yeah. Well, and I guess the other one that's the big one is everybody talks about dragonflies.
Dismal flies, dragonflies, definitely.
And
the nymphs is what's going to be the issue. They munch on your babies, your eggs, and when I see them, I scoop them out and get rid of them, but I'm sure I'm missing tons, especially in those bigger tubs.
And in the bigger tubs, though, the only way to combat that is make sure you have something in there that is bigger.
Well, they do make something. I don't remember if it's a liquid or a powder. I believe it's like at a farmer type store. There's something out there that you can mix in your tubs to kill them. What it is, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like my gut's saying it's like a powder that you measure off, like, I don't know, a little bit for a whole lot of water. There is things out there that you can put in your tubs. I just don't do that. I use a net.
But like, again, going back to our mosquito fish tub, hence the name mosquito fish. That tub, 300 gallons of water, never had one mosquito in it.
Never.
Not
In fact,
one time. The water could be stagnant.
Yeah.
And there would not be any. There was no larva, no nothing. So if you can do what Mother Nature intended, and if you have a big enough tub, if you can add something to it that enjoys the predator that you are worried about, then there you go.
Yes.
I mean,
And that's what
you're right up the alley there.
Because no matter what, with outside water, you're going to get mosquitoes here. So if we saw a little bit, and the guppies, a lot of the fish will eat mosquito larvae up, but there's sometimes that there's just an excess amount of them that it's starting to be a little too much. We would scoop them out and just add them to that mosquito fish tub. Be like, well, they'll eat them in this one. So there's something, and the smaller you go, if you can use it for food, use it for food. But like the frogs, the tadpoles, when we had the arowana and the freshwater lionfish, we use some of them tadpoles for food too. So if it's an opportunity, if you have something that can use, I don't want to like get rid of it just to get rid of it if I can utilize it in a different way, because other things have to eat too. But when I say we had thousands of frogs, we had a lot of frogs. So, but yeah, the mosquitoes and the mosquito larva is a good food source, where it's not so much a pest because the fish that you're keeping in there to breed is definitely going to chomp that down. But here where we live, we just have so many mosquitoes. And I'm sure you have a lot where you live too. But sometimes
And depending on where you live, your insect
Yeah.
variation is going to be different.
Yeah.
Obviously, you might have
But
more
going-
dragonflies.
Yeah.
You might have more.
going back to
whatever.
the bad ones, like the dismal flies, they're like dragonflies with one less set of wings. So there's dragonflies, dismal flies. We have wasp a lot that will come in and take little drinks out of the pond. They're not necessarily doing anything bad to the pond, but we have gotten stung through the years just because they're angry red wasp. I mean, they're not every kind, but they use my summer tubs, my pond, my bigger tub. They use them as they come in, take a drink, and fly off. So they're not doing anything bad to the tub. They're just sometimes doing bad things to me. But it's drawing that pest into the backyard. We've had spider. I've come in and seen a dead, drowned spider in the tubs, just coming in there and hanging out. What else is there? There's just little creepy crawlies sometimes can get in there. That's not necessarily bad per se. It's just you don't want it to linger in there and foul your water. But the smaller ones, there's some things I don't even know honestly what they're called. They're just a little gnat, just a little flying little bug, and they come in and they breed on the little leaves. And if you dunk the leaf in just the tiniest bit of water, all that floats into it, and the babies and the guppies will just gobble that all up. So that's a pest, but it's a good pest because it's a great live food that's just you can barely see it. But having that live food source for the guppies, even though I feed really good food in the fish room. I'm not going to lie. I'm a food snob. The more experience I get in fish keeping, the more and more picky I am about the food I feed to the fish room. I'm not so quick
But
to
you're
just
not gonna
grab.
But you're not gonna beat Mother Nature's best.
But that's what I'm saying. Having that, I don't even know what it is. It's just a little flying little bug. But the guppies, the rice fish, the white cloud minnows, the rosy red minnow, they all gobbled it up. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But just know, because it is a water source, you're going to have some good things and some bad things that you might have to deal with. None of it is all that. Even being scared by a little garter snake isn't, in the moment, I'm like, "Argh," but there's nothing overly bad. So you're going to have to deal with some things, but honestly, just a good net, it honestly solves a lot of problems.
Well,
and you want it to be a really fine mesh, so the tiny little bugs can't just get through it, but you want it to be, you don't want to close it off completely. So
The cheapest I have found going into this, because I'm the hardware guy, is a roll of actual screen wire for a window.
yeah, that works
You
really
can
well.
buy a roll of screen wire, and you don't even have to do anything fancy. You can get it from your local hardware store, the screen wire, and you can even get the clamps you can just get plastic clamps and just clamp around your tub. So that way, whenever you're wanting to take it off or whatever, that'll keep all your big pests out. The majority of your major size pests.
I'm going to probably think after, of 100 different ones after we're done recording, but for right now, that's about all I can think of. Is the bad ones was raccoons, birds, that snapping turtle that we kind of did accidentally ourselves, the dismal dragonflies. Before Jesse dies over here, I think he took a drink and it went down the wrong pipe.
It did.
But it's kind of good timing because I think I can't think of anything. But as soon as they stop, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of something? So if you do have one on your list and you summer tub, or you have a pond and there's something we forgot, because I'm sure we did, because we don't plan this at all. We come down here 2 seconds before we film this. and be like, so what's the topic? I'm like, you want to talk about ponds? And he's like, sure. And it is literally 7:10 p.m. on March 30th, Monday. And I guarantee you, as soon as this is done processing, we're going to upload it. So it's like real-time podcast. We're not live, but it's real-time this week.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's real time every time. I don't rehearse anything.
Because he doesn't know. He has no chance to rehearse.
It's off the cuff. And again, if I ain't said it once, I've said it a million times. I make the most mistakes. And guess what? I'm proud of it. And I'm glad to share them with you, because some of you probably go, well, I made that mistake and I should have known better. Well, guess what? Somebody else did too.
Yeah, and we're trying over here. But I'm definitely excited for this summer. One, because it's finally nice weather, and I'm going to get a new pond. Maybe not like brand spanking new shape, because I do like what we have. It's a good size, and it does its thing really well. But definitely keep track of the podcast, subscribe, keep updates on us, because we're going to share every step of the way, because we both like to talk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But in the meantime, go over to sciencegalaquatics.com and get yourself a plushie, because they are adorable. And they're only going to last for so long, because I'm getting older, and I will tell you, it used to be easier to make them. And now after about 4 or 5, my hands hurt. So this is a great thing to do. I love making them, and they are adorable. But I might have to say, get them while they last, because it might start being a limited time only.
We'll start going with a limited edition series.
And I hate to say that, but man, I made the cutest little one for his son's baby shower, because we're going to be grandparents soon. I'm a step nana and he's pawpaw soon. And I made them the cutest ones. But man, I was like, Jesse, I need an ice pack and some ibuprofen. So make sure you go to sciencegalaquatics.com and check it out. But until next time, until next week, until next Monday, we'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.